Let's start off with full names and groups in the chat. And as you can tell, we are diving into reflexive pronouns. Now, here in reflexive pronouns, we're going to be doing our best to practice something that is basic, but is often not used enough. Your goal is to complete your 2 blocks with their corresponding activities and evaluations, and your forum deadline is Tuesday, the 26th. And for today's session, we're going to be tackling this block. Right. Now, if you remember your pronouns, I, you, he, she, it, we, you plural, and they, then you would remember that they can transform into other types of pronouns. Now, this is possibly the last set of pronouns we will see, but there are other words that we'll also practice next week that have pronoun relation, so to speak. Now, in this one, I want you to remember those base pronouns so that you can remember and practice where these pronouns will go. Now, when you think of pronouns, you think of a person, a place, or a thing. The pronoun is replacing those words. So instead of saying Jason, you could say he. Instead of saying Dahlia, you'll say she. Those words are replacement words. And these replacement words go in tandem with what type of subject you're working with. So I saw, well, that's an I. It, myself. I goes with myself. I, me, my, myself. All right. You don't burn yourself. You, yourself. He, himself. He hurt himself. She, herself. She did it herself. It, the cat. Itself. The cat scratched itself. We, ourselves. We made it ourselves. You plural, you did it yourselves. You plural, yourselves. Did you paint the house yourselves? Question form there. They, themselves, they were speaking to themselves. All right, so the idea is that you try to remember which subject line you're working with in order to choose which appropriate reflexive pronoun will be receiving the action. All right, remember the actor or speaker is applying action to themselves. All right, so whoever is in the subject line will influence what will be in the reflexive pronoun line. All right, let's look at uses. Um, I think the person who jumped in the earliest was Jorge. So Jorge, let's start with you. Number one.
Yes, grammatic rules. We can use reflexive pronouns with most transitive verbs, but among the most common are blame, cut, enjoy, help, hurt, introduce, prepare, teach. Examples: how did he hurt himself? We really enjoyed ourselves while on holiday. I blame myself.
Good. All right, so we see hurt, tick. We see enjoy, tick. We see blame, tick. Let's try some of the others. All right. When I'm cooking, I have to be careful not to cut myself. All right. Let's see. If you are thirsty, help yourself to a can of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is pretty common here. All right. You're in a place for the first time. Hello. Let me introduce myself. I'm Jason, blah, 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 blah. Hey, don't you have an exam? You need to prepare yourself by studying. You know what I did last summer? I taught myself how to surf. All right? All these words are transitive. There's an action that comes from the actor, and it's also experienced by the actor, right? So these are what we call transitives, and they're very commonly used, of course, with reflexives, right? We're not going to dive too deep into transitive, but let's practice more reflexives. Let's go with Adir, Ignacio.
We can use reflexive pronouns when we want to emphasize the subject.
Emphasize.
Emphasize the subject. In these cases, it is more common to place the pronoun at the end of the sentences rather than after the verb. Examples: we paint the house ourselves. We have a great party. Did you prepare everything yourself?
Good. Emphasizing, making it the highlight of the sentence. All right, so that's emphasizing. Good. Maria Fernanda Cervantes, number two.
Um,
Sorry, number three. Go ahead.
yes, we use by plus reflexive pronoun to indicate alone.
Mhm.
Examples: I often prepare to be by myself. She
Learned.
learned to read. I'll be myself.
All right. Now, notice these two sets. Here, we are in a group. You plural in a group. But here, the person is performing the action is received by the person, and there's no other actors, right? So that by eliminates everyone. It focuses on only that one person alone, right? So if you want to be super specific, you use by plus the reflexive pronoun, right? Number four, Dalia.
The use of the reflexive numbers changes the meaning. Meaning take some coffee
Mhm.
helps in the middle of a very complicated.
All right.
Ugly.
Right, your internet connection is going in and out, so let me just go back through. The use of the reflective pronoun with some verbs means that the meaning is switched. So help, we know, means to provide assistance. But in this case, there's no provision of assistance from one person to the next. In this phrasing, the instruction is given. You do it. No problem. Help yourself means take. All right, you can have. So help yourself to some more chocolate, help yourself to some cake, help yourself to whatever you want. All right, and find. Usually, find means something is lost, and therefore you go and you search until it is now visible. In this case, find is more like Christopher Columbus's discover, all right? They didn't think about it, but bam, something new appears. So find yourselves, find ourselves in this phrasing means they're discovering. They are seeing something for the first time that I didn't see before, right? Number five, Esmeralda.
Yes, we don't use reflex pronouns for action that people use to do themselves. Examples: I have the shave every day, no, every other day, and I have to shave myself every other day.
All right. We don't say those phrases with reflexive pronouns because it's obvious. Taking a shower, who else? Eating, who else? All those actions that it's very clear that it is you that will do it with you, then it's obviously not necessary. Now, of course, there are certain cases where the person is very small. Babies don't feed themselves, they don't bathe themselves, they don't change themselves because they're babies. But in general, when people can do the action, usually it is very obvious that they're performing the action as well. All right, for those cases, we don't need to add the reflexive pronoun. All right, number 6, Erving.
We use reflex we use reflexive pronouns with certain expressions.
Mm,
Examples: behave yourself, meaning behave well. Help yourself, meaning said to someone when offering something, such as food or drink. Make yourself at home, meaning said to guests to um,
Encourage.
encourage them to feel comfortable in your home.
Right? And these are like idiomatic expressions, right? In a way, they are very much used in this way. These sentences are nice and short, and they're like quick commands, quick phrases, and they have very specific uses or meanings in English. It's almost like how we respond in certain quick phrases in Spanish that by themselves don't really make a sentence, but they are good for responding to certain situations. Here is the same. All right. Now, I would be remiss if I don't mention this one. If the actor does an action and the receiver gives back the action, then we call this reciprocal pronouns. All right. The transaction is equal. There's equity between the two actors. All right. So it's not that one gives and the other one receives. It's that one does it and the other one does it too. These we call reciprocal. Now, if you think about the pronouns, you're thinking specifically about the I, you, he, she, it, we, you, and they, and how they would become receivers. On the other hand, if both of them are working together, then we'll call it reciprocal, right? And we'd use each other. For example, the brothers hug each other. The team celebrated with each other after beating Cholos. All of those things happen at the same time and everyone is doing the activity. So that's when we use each other, right? So try to remember when we would use the pronoun, when we would use the sentences without the pronouns, and of course, when we would use a reciprocal because both actors are doing it at the same time. All right, let's get some more people involved. I see some others. Let me see if everyone is in. Let's go to let's go to Elan. Which pronoun should we use here? Number 1, Monse.
Mm, Robert made this t-shirt himself.
Good, because it is a guy, it is singular. All right, Bitsaida, number 2.
Yes. Lisa did her homework herself.
All right, Lisa's a girl, singular, and she's performing the action. Right, Ingrid?
Yes, helping and ourselves to some go out the party.
All right, I hope it's Coca-Cola. Grabbing some soda as a group. Javi, number 4.
Emma, did you take the photo by yourself?
Exactly. Hint, hint, the clue is here. All right. If we see Emma, then we might think, it's her. All right, but be very careful. This is a question, so the person's directing the question to another person. All right. Jimena Cortez.
I wrote this poem myself.
All right.
My,
I myself, correct. All right. The person is doing the action alone. We could even say by myself. All right, Sebastian, let's see if you've caught up.
He cut himself with the
Knife.
knife while he was doing the dishes.
All right, gotta be more careful when you wash those dishes. Veronica, number 7.
The lion can defend itself.
Correct. All right. Now, there are 2 activities in this one. They're very easy. Just try to practice them as well to give yourself some extra practice. All right. And here some others as well. Get some of the first people involved. Let's go with Jorge again. Number 1, Jorge.
They can help themselves.
Themselves. Remember, we're going with the object, then adding self. Themselves. Again, they can help
They can help themselves.
themselves. Good. Right? Adir, or is it Aldair?
Bueno, es Adair, pero pues,
Okay.
mucha gente me dice también así.
All right, go ahead.
You yourself can do it.
You can do it.
Yourself, perdón, lo leí al revés.
One more time.
You can do it yourself.
Good. And that's usually something you can say motivating yourself as well. All right? But that was singular. What about if it's plural, Maria Fernanda? What do you use?
You can do it yourself.
Yourselves. All right? Change the
Okay.
F to VES. Yourselves. All right? Is it Dayla or Dahlia? Am I the one pronouncing your names wrong today?
It's Daila.
Dayla. Go ahead, Dayla. Number 4.
Okay. He cleaned the kitchen himself.
Good. All right, let's continue with Esmeralda.
I did my homework all by myself.
Indeed. And there's even a song, All by Myself. All right, good. So dive in, get your Unit 5 folders done, neatly organized, and give yourself a shot. Be very creative creating your museum rules and upload them to your forum. Remember, the deadline is Tuesday, so go ahead and finish before the deadline. And next Saturday, when we meet up, we will tackle something new. We're going to go on to Unit 6. All right? Let me know if you need help with anything. If you can't see any scores from your first or second forum or your first or second exam, let me know if you need help, if you missed anything, and let's get it sorted. Want to end the year in style. When we finish all of these, when we come back in January, we're going to go to English 6. So let's make sure everything is in its place. Until next time, take care. Bye bye for now.